What's going on, guys? JB Lion back with another video, and today we are just doing the match review for the game I just watched, which was Arsenal versus Chelsea in the Carabao Cup semi-final. Before I get into this, like I always say before any video, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're new, and if you enjoy the videos and want to know when I'm uploading, please hit the bell icon. It does help me massively. Also comment in the comments what your guys' thoughts on the game are, and I'll try and, like I say, reply to all the comments as I possibly can. But let's get straight into this video. As you can tell by my tone of voice, I'm a little bit mad. Okay, I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to try and defend it. I am a little bit mad. I think that we should have got back into that game. We should have at least, scored one goal. I felt like throughout the game we were pretty dominant. We had our chances. There was some sparks of moments. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yes, we absolutely wiped the floor of Arsenal, because we didn't. Because if we didn't, if we had of, we would have scored, right? But the fact that we were pretty much in control of the game, basically the whole game, is what made me quite mad, really. We did exactly what we set out to do, which obviously I know Arsenal fans going to try and rage bait and be like, oh, what, lose? Yeah. Fair enough, we lost. But the fact that we had the opportunities, we should have taken them, we should have scored, and to lose is soul crushing. Because the thing is, if it was just a draw, you can kind of accept it, because you can kind of be like, all right, we had chances, we probably should have done better, but we just didn't do better, and that's just that. Do you know what I mean? That's football. But the fact that we concede a goal right at the end to Kai Havertz, and now it gives Arsenal fans something to brag about and say, controlled game, we controlled the game, nah, mate. Arsenal played like rubbish tonight, and I think any normal, sane fan in their mind will say it, that Arsenal actually didn't play to the standards they should usually. They were very, cautious, didn't play with any sort of bite, neither did we really. Like I said, it was just basically a game of chess, trying to tactically unlock each other, and, obviously Arsenal have done what they've done all season long, which is just basically soak up pressure and then crack one out last minute, which is fair enough. It works. You can't be mad at it if it's working. But obviously, like I said, it's a very frustrating game to watch. When we actually played really well. We played some really good football, and actually, for once we actually did well. That sort of we nullified basically what Arsenal have been doing this season, which is taking corners and banging them in. But we nullified them. They only had 2 corners all game, so whatever we were doing was kind of stopping them from doing that. Like I say, Arsenal didn't really attack us, so there wasn't an opportunity for a corner. Like I said, we had plenty of chances to score. We had a few, well, I say plenty, we had quite minimal chances. We had a lot of shots, but not a whole lot on target. Just getting on my phone now to have a look. So yeah, we had a total of 14 shots to Arsenal's 5 shots. Obviously, we only had 2 on target, and so did Arsenal. One of them was in the back of the net from Kai Havertz right at the end. So it is kind of madness in my mind that we actually lost that game. Like I said, if we drew, I wouldn't be as bitter, but it's the fact that we lost to a goal at the end. I get we threw the kitchen sink and absolutely everything at it at the end to try and get that equaliser, which is fine. But now we've got a loss against our name for something, basically given bragging rights for nothing, pretty much. Obviously, a win's a win. Arsenal are going to say that. A win's a win. And obviously the fact is Havertz does hurt even more to the fact that, someone scored against us and it's that guy. But it is what it is. Obviously, we take it on the chin. Like I said, we played extremely well, I think. We had quite a lot of possession. We looked comfortable on the ball. We should have scored. Like I said, we had a good few chances too, but we just didn't, and, it is the way it is. It was just, a very stale game the first half. Nobody really created anything. It was just basically, like I say, chess, trying to figure each other out. In the second half, it slightly opened up more, but the main sort of thing to take away from tonight's game was the fact that neither team had any teeth. Do you know what I mean? Nobody had that final bit of quality to get a goal. Nobody had that drive to try and be a bit adventurous and explore and try and open up the defence. They just basically were both stale loaves of bread holding fort. I don't know why Chelsea didn't attack it more. I don't know why we didn't try and be more aggressive. It's like we were the ones who were winning. We didn't create any chances, really. We had a few chances where Enzo Fernandez was on the edge of the box, and rather than try and play it about and stretch Arsenal, he just kept trying to lump it over the box. And it just did not work for us tonight. Like I said, we played really well, good, confident. You know, we dominated possession, created chances, but we just couldn't get them on target and we just couldn't score. And then obviously where we were basically throwing absolutely everything at it, we conceded the goal right at the end, and obviously Kai Havertz scored against us, which makes it even worse and, you know, rubs that salt into the wound a little bit more, because we shouldn't have lost, and then for him to score at the end was just even more painful. Obviously, fair play to Arsenal. They did what they had to do, which was basically shut the front door, sit back, soak up pressure, and pretty much do nothing all game other than just, you know, sit back and, like I say, soak up pressure and wait for their one opportunity, which they got with Kai Havertz. Like I said, any, you know, sane Arsenal fan will say that tonight they played like absolute rubbish. And, you know, if they sit there and say, oh, yeah, no, we controlled the game, they're just lying to themselves. They really can't be saying that they controlled that game, because they didn't. Like I said, Chelsea had more possession, better stats, and I'm not usually a stat man. I usually think that stats are just like whatever, but tonight, you know, I think even though we lost, Chelsea still held their head up high. We did play, like I say, we went toe to toe with top of the league, you know, quote unquote the top of the league, which they are, 6 points clear. Whether, you know, you agree with the way they play football or not, that's another story. But yeah, like I said, it was just a shame that we did lose it at the end. And yeah, you know, we could have done so much better. I wish we was just a bit more aggressive now looking back on it. I wish it was a bit more, I don't know, on the front foot. It just felt like we were so like defensive, or was too scared to come out of ourselves. And then when we did come out of ourselves, it was too late. And yeah, it was just a very, very frustrating game all over. And like I say, just to lose it is made it just that slightly bit more salty, because I know Arsenal fans going to sit and say, you know, yeah, you know, you guys should have scored. If you was better than us, you would have scored. You know, we've won both games, which is fair enough. You have a point. Yeah, you do. But, you know, if you're actually, you know, looking on the face of it, the first game, fair play. It was an all-out slogger match. We went toe-to-toe, 3-2, what a game. This second game was absolutely horrible to watch, and that's coming from a Chelsea fan, and I'm sure Arsenal fans will agree. It was very cagey, horrible to watch, and that's all it took, is one opportunity, and they got it, and they scored at the end. And that's just, unfortunately, the way the cookie crumbles with football sometimes. It is heartbreak at the end, and you just got to pick yourself up and kind of move on from it, really. But yeah, let's get into the part of the video that I do enjoy, like I always say, my good and my bad players. It was kind of a hard one tonight. I don't think anyone massively played extremely well. You know, it was a bit of a mixture, really. Like I said, he went for a completely different team than anyone was sort of anticipating when obviously we started. So I guess, like, I can't really do it in this video, because like I said, there's no one who played well or anyone who particularly played awful, because I felt like everyone was kind of on the same par. You know, some games you could say this person was absolutely terrible and this person was absolutely amazing, but I felt like everyone was on par tonight. Nobody stuck out like they played awful. Felt like everyone did their jobs, but nobody played absolutely amazing either. Like I said, they did their jobs. Unfortunately, like I said, we got the loss. And it is a very, very sore, painful one. Chelsea have basically got to lick their wounds now. The streak of losing to Arsenal continues, which absolutely sucks. Yeah, it is just what it is. Got to pick ourselves up now. Obviously, we're out of that competition. We do go against Arsenal again on the Sunday, the 1st of March, at the Emirates again, so we can maybe get our own back then. But you just don't know when you play against Arsenal. We've got Wolves on Saturday, which should be a bit of a better game. Hopefully we can bounce back and show a bit more of a dominant performance. But yes, guys, sorry it's been a bit of like a rant video, a bit of like a negative video. I don't like to do these sorts of videos, but it just was so, it was like such a boring game, and then to just go and lose it right at the end, especially like say to Kai Havertz, is just even even more painful. But yes, guys, I've been JB Line. Thank you so much for everyone who's been watching the videos. Really do appreciate it, and leaving all the likes and stuff. Like I say, from the bottom of my heart, I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've been JB Line. I see you dudes, dudettes, and everyone else in the next video. Peace, guys.